Hi everyone, I'm Jen. I just finished videotaping my very advanced ramble, ME, um, conversation as I'm slowly linking the different pieces of information and I'm slowly adding them together to make a beautiful paper chain. And the garland is getting longer and longer. The part that I forgot to include is that, I used to hesitate to say this out loud as I was absorbing the information for my own under and inner standing. But I'll just go ahead and say this because my desire is for those with willing hearts and open minds to play around with this as well, is free will it. Use your free will in not being tied to what others say. We already, for the most part, are nonconformists, and we are comfortable being ourselves for the most part because we are willing to be so weird for quote normal society because we are, we came out of the Mandela effect closet to publicly expose ourselves, which is a very vulnerable thing, to admit that we can see through the veil. And I'm not talking about just the dead spirits that I am in touch with at times and can see. And I'm not talking about my other sixth sense stuff of sampler tray things. I'm talking about seeing how fluid reality is. So take it to the next step. I've already talked about I experience different weather than the person that is with me. I've even, they've had a flood here. I've never had a flood, but I saw the remnants of it when they pointed out the trees where it came up, the water, So I hopped into their reality. As much as I want to free will it, I've given this example before. One time a whole deer materialized like a flippin' sci-fi show right in front of my car, right in front of the hood. And I joined the reality of the passenger in my car because she was upset that I was starting to drive again after the squirrel crossed the road. But for her, it was not a squirrel crossing the road. It was a full antlered deer right in front of us, and the deer was not finished crossing the road. So we had similar themes, animals crossing the road, but the timing of it was not finished of it for her. And so since I had already started driving, was ready to start, she was hysterical because I was ready to hit the deer, and the deer was standing, or it was standing when I entered her visual reality. But the point is, for the most part, I am trying more and more, not even trying, I am in my own separate reality. So as I'm drifting away, I see groups of you all hovering together because it's so much more comfortable staying in a community, but if the community is not comfortable with you straying from their points of view, they end up making you intentionally or unintentionally choose. Do you stay in the group and just conform to their trending beliefs, or do you stick to your own truth or your desired world that you want to live in? Okay, I'm straying again, sorry. So my point is that if you can be firm enough and use your free will, knowing that you may lose some friends because they're not going to be comfortable, that you may have a different point of view and experience different weather per se, but in addition to seeing some of you all have different names and variations of spellings of your names, yes, regular Joe Schmo in the ME community, not just Moneybags 76, 73 or the GPK, not just the big wigs, but also the others of you. And I'm not sure, some of you know I've come public, I've talked to you about it, but I don't know if you want your name mentioned, but anyhow, so I also, in addition to your different name changes, and YouTube does not allow you to change your name that frequently, and certainly within one day it would not happen. So I feel like the name change is more representative of the moods or state of beings that you are in, which is maybe a reflection of what I am in. But now I'm okay. So the images, the icon images also change, and YouTube does not let you change names that often. I do not know the rules, and yes, YouTube rules vary with whatever world I'm in, with whatever reality I'm in. And some of you all see that as YouTube messing with you, but you're just in a different, most likely, from my own experience, says you're most likely shifted to a different reality, but then you're sucked back in when your community say, ooh, low vibe, look what they're doing to us. No, you were vibing at a different level, and you were entering a zone where there are fewer and fewer of us because, in a way, it's harder to stray from the herd. And so not many are willing to stay out there. But I don't know what else to share. Icons. Feel free to leave comments of what names you see for me, because what I'm discovering is, even though I am putting out videos by a certain name, some of you still see me as a different name. I talked about it last video. And Brenda Mitchell, you put the comments out there in the open, so you still see me as Jen's Gems, JJ, Jen's Gems. And a whole bunch of people had joined my JG, Jen's Gems, but I guess you're still JJ. And the thing is, my icon picture changes. Some of you have noticed that. And we all come from a upbringing and background that reality is not fluid. So we assume that when you're watching my video, if I know myself as Jen's Gems JG, I was assuming that you are seeing me as JG, not JJ Jen's Gems. And take that a step further is also the icon image that I have up. It is different. Thankfully, I have an ME mate who has seen my different icons, and I was assuming he was keeping up with me. And he was. I would talk to the versions that was with me on those changed icon gens. But then when a new version of him would come into my awareness, we would have to kind of get to know each other again, even though it was an ongoing conversation. And now that we're aware, like, I had one icon that was just up maybe 24 hours back in winter 2017-18, and he saw that as we were talking maybe a month or so ago, and it was of a caterpillar and a butterfly sitting at a coffee house, just having coffee and talking, and the caterpillar saying, "Geez, you've changed." And that's just so ironic that that's the image I used, because you all are changing in front of my eyes, and I am changing for some of you as well, depending on which reality, which world we each are in. What is awesome is that we can still communicate with each other. I think we were firmly in certain worlds before, and now we're able to bounce around. Now, granted, some of our bouncings are hijacked, forced bouncings. My fisted thinker, lion, lamb, Marilyn Monroe, mole, where the Marilyn Monroe piercing is, world, I feel like I was yanked out of there, but these other worlds, I'm discovering I can bounce around with my inner GPS that I'm setting. So this is all a little bit too advanced for me as well, but I want to share some of my experiences as I keep chugging along. All right. Love all of yous.